Guys, check out my new custom shop guitar from AliExpress. It's not a Charvel, it's actually a Charvel. This is kind of a copy of a guitar that Jackson made about 20 years ago called the PC3, which was sort of the cheaper version of the PC1, the Phil Collins guitar. The main differences being that instead of having the Floyd Rose, it had the Wilkinson trim, and it did not have the sustainer and the fancy electronics. And when I saw a seller on AliExpress that was selling PC1 copies with the Floyd copy and everything, I messaged them and asked them if they could modify it, change it to this bridge and not have the sustainer or the fake sustainer, whatever it had, and not have the Jackson logo on the headstock. And they were like, sure, yeah, we can do that. So if you want to hear more about that story or, more details on that, watch the unboxing video as well as this video. The link is in the description. I want you guys to hear me jam on this because this guitar actually turned out really, really well, except for one pretty major issue, which I will get to later in the video. But you gotta hear me jam on it. As usual, I wrote and recorded an all-new shred jam using this guitar. Check it out. Alright guys, what did you think of the jam? How did you think it sounded? Did you like the sound of that rhythm and the sound of those leads? Did you think the tone was pretty good? Well, guess what, dudes? See this pickup right here? This is a $10 pickup from Amazon. I got the pickup on Amazon, 10 bucks from Music Lily. Have you heard of Music Lily? They make tons of really good quality affordable guitar parts, not just pickups. They have necks, bodies, pretty much everything that you would need for a guitar, and the prices are really good, and they're on Amazon. So anybody that wants to check out this pickup, this really good $10 pickup, I've got a link for it in the description. Okay, let's go over the specs of the guitar. It's a dinky. The body is alder, and then it's got a veneer maple top. We've got the 2-point floating Wilkinson trem bridge. I had to pay a little bit extra for this because this is a made in Korea bridge. 1 volume, 1 tone, and a 3-way blade switch. Now this is interesting because I just assumed that this guitar would come with a 5-way blade because of the 3 pickups, right? But it didn't. So I got it, and it's got this 3-way blade, and I'm going, man, how did they wire up these pickups? Because normally on a 3-way switch, when you have it in the middle, it's gonna be the neck pickup and the bridge pickup together. So I was worried, like, when it's in the middle, is it these 2 pickups at the same time or these 2 at the same time? I wasn't sure at first, and I had to do a bunch of checking by unwiring some of the pickups and then checking the positions to make sure and see how it was working. And what they did, and which I find kind of cool, to be honest, is that when it's in the back position, it's the bridge pickup only. When it's in the middle, it's the middle pickup only. And when it's in the 3rd position, it's the neck pickup only. So that's cool. So as far as the pickups go, again, this is the $10 Music Lily humbucker from Amazon. This is a dual rails style humbucker in the neck position, and then just a cheap single coil in the middle, which I have to lower down as low as I can get it so I don't hit it when I'm picking. It's got a 24 fret maple neck, and you'll notice that the fretboard does not have the dots on the fretboard. Well, that's because, remember I said, this started off as a copy of the Jackson PC1, the Phil Collins guitar, and that does not have the dots on the fretboard. I regret the fact that I didn't tell the guy to put the dots in there because I'm not used to that, and I find myself getting like a little bit mixed up or losing my place a little bit sometimes, not a lot, but enough that I do wish those dots were there. And yes, it does have the dots up here on the top, luckily, or I would be pretty lost. But still, I do wish I had the dots on there. Now the nut, guys, this guitar came with like a horrible, crappy, cheap plastic nut. So I swapped it out with a Tusk XL nut that I got on eBay for like 11 bucks. I also changed the string tree. You know, it just came with that standard cheap string tree that you see on cheap guitars all the time. And I didn't change it because like, well, the string tree is no good. I changed it because the original string tree was off center. Like it wasn't centered. So the strings were kind of being pulled to the side a little bit because again, the hole wasn't drilled centered. And then I figured if I'm gonna plug the hole and re-drill the hole anyway, I'll just go ahead and upgrade it to a nicer string tree. So I did that. Now the neck, I gotta talk about the neck. This is one of the things that's like most important to me now when I place custom orders on AliExpress. I want the neck to have specific specifications, my specs to what is like the perfect neck for me, right? It's got to have a thin profile. I wanted it to have like a thinner nut, like 1 5/8 inches, and then not be too wide, like going all the way down. And they actually achieved that. This is a great neck. They did a great job on the profile, really comfortable. I love it. And the frets, even though I didn't send them the jumbo frets like I've done previously a few other times, they have pretty big frets. I asked them, what are the biggest frets you have? Put the biggest frets that you have on there, and they did that. And then after I got the guitar, guys, I took the neck off. I did my best to do a fret leveling. I thought I did a pretty good job, but now there's some spots up here where the frets are still a little uneven, so I'm thinking like down the road at some point, I'm gonna take it off again and have another go at leveling the frets. That's the one thing that I'm like, not super good at yet, not confident in my abilities, and I definitely need to get better at that, but I think I'll try to level it another time. It's pretty good right now, but I think it could be better. And also, like I've done previously, I had them send me the guitar with the neck with no finish on the neck. No gloss, no satin finish, nothing. In fact, that was something they screwed up when they finished the guitar the first time. They actually did the whole neck in high gloss after I told them I don't want any finish. And then I saw the pictures and I was like, that neck has high gloss on it. And it was a whole thing. And it took several weeks for them to make a new neck, but they did, and it's all good. So I finished it in tung oil, which for me is the best finish to put on a neck. It just feels really smooth, really fast. love tongue oil on a neck. I did take out one of the springs from the bridge. I only need 2 springs so that I could adjust the tension appropriately so that I could get the bridge where I want it and so that it's level with the body. Now remember earlier I said there was one major big problem with this guitar. Did anybody notice in the jam when you heard me play this guitar that not once did I grab the bar and use it? You want to know why? That's because if I use the bar even a little bit, just for a little bit of vibrato, it goes out of tune. Usually what happens after I use the bar, all the strings are sharp. And then in order to get it kind of like back in tune, I have to like push down on it, and then all the strings are flat. So when you use the bridge, it will not return to the proper spot. It won't return to where it needs to be so that the strings are in tune again. Like I said, usually sharp. Now I have a theory about why that may be happening. I haven't looked it up yet, guys. I haven't Googled it because I wanted to ask you guys first, because I know I have a lot of really knowledgeable guitar guys out there, and I want you guys to tell me, like, what could be causing the bridge to go sharp every time I use it? Would it be the nut? And I don't know if it's the nut, because this is a Tusk XL nut. It's a good quality nut. It shouldn't be like grabbing the strings or binding the strings. Is it the fact that I don't have locking tuners? Would that stop it from happening? Okay, my theory. Here's my theory, guys. And again, I don't know if this is causing it or not. Okay, you see the posts? Those posts aren't going, they're not straight. They're supposed to be perpendicular with the body, right? Here's the body, and the post should be straight, perpendicular. Well, they're not. They're a little bit off. Instead of being like perfectly straight like this, they're more like this, both of them. Check out this picture, see if you can see what I'm talking about. Hopefully it's visible and you can see that the posts are not straight. They're not perpendicular, which means that, you know, that little groove in the stud where the bridge connects to, it's, instead of being like this, it's like this. Could that be causing the bridge to go sharp? Like it wants to move because it wants to be in the groove straight and not, you know, not straight. And then the other thing is, like, I wonder if the knife edges on the bridge, you know, the little edge right there, where they fit into that little groove, maybe they aren't sharp enough. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. At some point, I'm not gonna do this anytime soon because I'm not looking forward to doing it because I might completely ruin the guitar. But at some point, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna take it apart, I'm gonna take the bridge off, I'm gonna take the studs out, including the piece that's in there that they screw into. I'm gonna pull those out, hopefully, if I can, and then I'm gonna fill the holes. I'm gonna fill them in with some wood and some wood filler, and then I'm gonna try to re-drill the holes straight and not crooked. I don't know if I can pull that off, but I really wanna try it because I have a feeling that's why this thing won't stay in tune. And that's really a pretty big screw up. I mean, I'm pretty disappointed that those studs are not perfectly perpendicular. The way it is now, the guitar is totally playable, stays in tune, feels great, plays great. This turned out really well as long as I don't use the bar, right? If I just play it like a hardtail. And I also have to be careful that I don't put too much pressure on the bridge with my hand because that's the same thing. Then it's moving the bridge and then it's gonna go out of tune. I'm almost regretting, guys, that I even had this bridge installed on it. Like, I should have just had to make it a hardtail. And if I could go back, that's what I'd do instead of using the Wilkinson 2-point trim. I love this bridge, by the way. I've got this same bridge on one of my other guitars that's like my best guitar. And it's exactly the same bridge, I think. And I don't have any of that tuning issue. It stays in tune really well. But yeah, if I could go back, I'd probably have this made as just a hardtail. And by the way, if anybody wants to know what store I ordered this from, I'm gonna tell you right now. You ready? Melody Guitar Store. All right, guys, as usual, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.